Chapter 157 to 160. In the Grand Line, somewhere in the calm belt, 10 marine ships were seen floating in the calm sea, not moving an inch. It was because no one was there to make the ship's transit, and the only people in the ship were the Kuja pirates and an emperor of the sea. After removing the Marines from the ships and freeing the Boa sisters, Amon was talking with Hancock in a dark cell. It only had one window at the top of it. Today, Hancock was wearing the red dress that she was seen wearing in her first appearance in anime. She was also wearing a cape. Amon looked at Hancock and suggested, "Then we should free your people first. After that, I plan to turn the ships around and head back to Amazon Lily." Hancock opened her mouth. She wanted to say something, but nothing came out. After a few attempts, she finally closed her mouth. "I never thought I would care for them ever." Hancock was talking about the Kuja people. Boa Hancock didn't think much of the Kuja tribe. She didn't care whether it got destroyed or not. However, today, when it was about to happen, her heart couldn't allow her to act the way she usually did. Cold and selfish. "They're my people. If they get captured and punished, I wouldn't allow it. I don't need the filthy world government to punish them for me." Hancock used this as an excuse and nodded to herself. While Amon patiently waited for her to talk, Hancock opened her mouth. "I understand, but the Marines' reinforcements have already arrived at Amazon Lily. They're probably capturing the remaining Kujas already. I know you're very fast, so I want you to go and save them." Without even realizing it, Hancock was talking to Amon in a bossy tone. She forgot the man in front of her was an emperor of the sea. She continued, "Meanwhile, I'll go and free the Kujas in these ships. After that, I'll go to Amazon Lily along with these 10 marine ships. It'll take me about 2 days to reach it. You can leave now." Amon suddenly interrupted her. "Pfft!" He broke out laughing while glancing at Hancock's confused face. "That strangely sounds like you are ordering me, Pirate Empress. Watch your tone. I am not the one with lower value here." Boa Hancock stayed silent. She realized suddenly that he was right. It was her fault. Usually, she could get out of these situations thanks to her beauty. But this man, he was different from the others. "After my defeat against that old Marine lady, the confidence I once had in my beauty has dwindled." Still, Amon didn't seem angry at her. She knew for sure if it was another emperor, they'd harm her for talking that way to them, or at least yell at her. She knew this fact very well. A hardly noticeable smile crept onto her face. "He's not like the others at all." After staring at Amon's eyes for a second, she said with a courteous bow, "I apologize. It was my fault I didn't realize who I was talking to." The two Boa sisters freaked out. "Big sister!" Boa Hancock continued as if she didn't hear them. "I will rephrase my words. Will you please go and save the Kuja tribe?" Amon snickered in his mind. Oh, how good it felt to make a prideful person like her say the word please. He lightly shook his head. "No need to worry. I already have sent Rocky there. She must be freeing your people as we talk." Hancock raised her head and questioned, "Rocky?" "She is a girl in her late teens. You will meet her after reaching there," Amon answered while walking out of the cell. "Anyways, follow me to the other cells." An unnoticed frown appeared on Hancock's beautiful face. "A girl?" Just like that, 2 days passed by. Amon and Hancock's group were going towards Amazon Lily. Meanwhile, on the New World side of the world, something more interesting was happening with the groups of an emperor. "Gurara rara, kid. You're here to challenge me?" The old and deep voice of the strongest man alive flowed through the sea as the crew of Whitebeard pirates laughed. "Pops, let us take care of it," Marco said from the side as he looked ahead towards the face of the novice pirate. The Whitebeard pirates were resting on an island filled with trees, a forest. But to think a novice pirate crew will dare to come here and challenge the strongest man himself. Whitebeard groaned. No, I will take care of it myself. He then glanced at Marco's dejected face. Anyway, don't you recognize that name, Marco? Marco looked at him confused. Whitebeard laughed lightly. That name, Portgas D. Ace. It's him, that guy's son. Marco's pineapple-like face became surprised as he blinked. Pops, is this fate? Whitebeard didn't answer. He just laughed. He wanted to say anything, but before he could, the surrounding atmosphere suddenly heated up. A voice filled with determination cooed, I will defeat you, Whitebeard. It was the voice of Ace, the pawn of the Sky Emperor. He managed to reach the strongest man. It was just a matter of seconds before he would get trashed. As he rushed forward, Whitebeard grinned and prepared his fist coated in quake power. Ace has been looking for Whitebeard pirates for a while now. However, he couldn't find them at all. Still, he was the son of the old era's luckiest man. His luck led him to this island where no human was supposed to reach. To his shock, he found them, the Whitebeard pirates, resting here. It was another shock to him seeing how a pirate crew was so happy and cheerful, but it didn't matter much. I have to follow the plan Fool made for me with the cost of his life. His motive was clear. I have to join the Whitebeard pirates at any cost. Yes, he was determined. And the best possible way for him to achieve that goal was to challenge the strongest man alive and make him take him in. Just as Fool said. Thinking this, he approached Whitebeard. However, inside the small sphere surrounding Whitebeard's first, space crackled and popped fiercely. The cracks in the space were visible to the naked eye. More cracks appeared in the air as his fist slammed into Ace's chest. Ace's eyes grew as he realized he lost before the fight even started. To think a single slam on the chest was enough to take me down. While coughing out blood and flying meters back, Ace understood. Whitebeard was also a monster at the level of the strongest creature. While light was barely entering his eyes, he saw a massive hand asking to be held. You become my son. The deep voice of Whitebeard flowed within his ears. Ace grinned internally as he felt his adrenaline wear off and lost consciousness. Of course, even then, he didn't forget to grab the large hand. On the other hand, in Marineford, the Fleet Admiral Sengoku was in his office. He was often releasing deep breaths while working on some papers. Suddenly, he put the pen down aggressively. This is frustrating. It's been 2 days since he got any news from Suru or the reinforcements. Needless to say, he was aware of what might have happened. But why? He questioned himself. Suru reported she captured half of the Kuja and was on her way here. Then what caused her sudden disappearance? The most likely answer was a natural disaster. The least likely was someone ambushed them. It was least likely because Suru was strong. Sengoku didn't know what to make out of this. The higher-ups are pressuring me like never before. Hey, first, a few days ago, there was news of a fight between Kaido and an unidentified man. The spies implanted in the Beast Pirates informed me that Kaido lost an eye in that battle, and now the disappearance of a strong Marine with the potential failure of an important mission. Still, I am pretty curious to know who was strong enough to have done that to Kaido. In his mind, Sengoku had some names, but from a broader perspective, it seemed impossible. Also, Kizaru, Sengoku sighed. He is also pretty unsatisfied with his prosthetic arm, most because of the mocking he got from Zephyr. Finally, thinking that he needs a breather, Sengoku stood up. He said as he walked to the door, also that Garp, he has been acting grumpy too because of that kid Ace. 200 million belly bounty, he is a known pirate now. Sigh, Lord help me. Amon Pov. 2 days have passed since I saved Boa Hancock. Currently, I am in the kitchen of the Marine ship, cooking food for the Kuja people. There are others helping me, but I'm the one that's in charge of everything. Fortunately, even though the ship didn't have enough ration for me to cook food for all of them, combining the other ship's rations, we somehow managed the past 2 days. Standing in front of the huge pot, I added many different kinds of cut-up vegetables into it. The pot soon released a juicy, delicious aroma, making Amon's mouth water a bit. Smells good. My cooking skills weren't the best in the world, but it's better than most professional chefs. After all, I had to learn how to cook those alien creatures, which left me with many ideas that I could use to cook new dishes. "Sorry to make you work so hard, young man," the voice of an old woman said behind me. I looked back to find Gloriosa, the oldest woman among the Kujas. It seems the Marines took her on the ships rather than leaving her behind. The last 2 days she acted very kindly towards me, probably because I am an important figure more than the fact that I saved them. Now that I really think about myself, I really am one of the people at the top of this world. A smile bloomed on my face. A few more years, then I'll be at the top of the world. I turned around to meet the eyes of the old woman with a soft smile. "It's nothing," I said. "Cooking is my hobby. Besides, it's not like I have anything else to do." She slowly nodded to me. "Still, if you feel like you don't want to, just ask anyone. They'll take your place for you." I smiled again. "Thank you for treating me so kindly. I didn't expect the Kujas to act so generously towards me, even though they are rumored to not like men at all." "Ha ha, I know what you mean." The woman sighed after a while. "Truthfully, I was a little scared of you at the beginning. But to think you were such a fine young man, I feel a bit guilty." This made me chuckle. "Doesn't matter. As long as the end's well, all's well." The woman snickered, hearing me. "Indeed." I also laughed. But suddenly, "Oh, by the way, how's the pirate empress been doing? It's already noon, but I haven't seen her since last night," I said in a tone as if I haven't been waiting to ask this. The old woman shook her head. "Let's not talk about her. She locked herself in her room. She says she will come out when she is hungry. She never acted this way before." Sorry if this hurts your pride. That girl is just like that." I chuckled again. "No worries. The people I live around are all a little special, so I am used to this." Hearing me, the old lady released a relieved sigh. She really was nervous around me, an emperor of the sea. Even with her old mind, she understands how much value I actually hold. Also, Boa Hancock hasn't experienced the sickness yet. I was confident she would go crazy over me in these 2 days. After all, I did prepare for it a long time ago, by humiliating the nobles and even going as far as giving her the knowledge that Kizaru was the one to technically kill Fisher Tiger. However, it seems I forgot the fact that this is a dire situation. The worry for her people is suppressing her other emotions. I stopped as I was about to pour some salt into the pot. I chuckled as the thought crossed my mind. "I'm worrying why a girl isn't falling for me yet?" That was new, but that was not the case. Make no mistake, I am not caring about Boa Hancock because of her being the most beautiful woman. Yes, I do enjoy women, the feeling of dominating someone, but I never let my hormones do the thinking. All my actions with the Kujas are for one reason, and that's manipulation. Boa Hancock is just an essential subordinate who can one-shot even the strongest of people. No, her ability won't work on emperors, however, it definitely would work on the admirals, who surprisingly lack super-strong haki because of depending on their devil fruits too much. Anyway, the matter is not who her power works against. The matter is, I somehow need her to be Yonko commander level by the year 1522 when my main plan starts. Conquering the world sounds big, but it isn't practical with my current army and power. I also need to go after that fruit, which is essential for my 3 devil fruit goal. From my calculation, even another 100 of the current me can't beat Emu. Without 3 devil fruits, I can't match his 800-year-old haki. Emu. Now that I think about it, I know practically nothing about him. All I know is he is more than 800 years old from Seraph's small portions of memory. What's his devil fruit? I don't know. What's his hockey level? I don't know. What's his gender? I don't even know that. Zah! As the burned scent of radish entered my nose, I was shocked to see the food getting overburned. Ah, shit. An explosion happened as my face was painted black. The food was destroyed. I guess I need to make it new again. Today, the weather was a bit strange in the Mariageois. It was raining lightly, but there was still sunlight. This was an interesting spectacle. In the most glorious chamber within the Mariageois, a throne existed. It is the representation that no one rules the Mariageois, because this is the throne that no one can sit on, not even the celestial dragons. However, that was surely not the case, as today, right now, a person clad in white robes was sitting on the throne that was above a few staircases. While resting his chin on his hand, the being's blood-red eyes were staring at the air, as if seeing something that wasn't even there. A strange snicker left his mouth as he cooed. This one is strange. He acts as if he knows what will happen in the future. What is he? Someone who traveled to the past? No. He soon canceled that possibility. There was no way to travel to the past. One can only go to the future. He soon had another guess. Maybe... No. That's impossible, too. There is no way someone can enter here from outside when I can't get out from the inside. A few minutes passed. As his face under the veil, he was wearing a frown the whole time. Finally, after 4 minutes, the man found something amusing. He said in a voice filled with nostalgia, "He is in a way similar to me. World domination, huh? I had the same dream. I did things that I shouldn't have. But look where that brought me." A chuckle left her cherry lips. At the top of everything, alone. But the next second his face under the veil went expressionless. It's not fun. Another few minutes passed as the being released a strangely heavy sigh. "Let's see how long you can go, Amon. You are amusing to me. One of the 5 reasons I haven't killed you yet." His face formed an amusing smile. "Even though you can't hear me, I would like to give you a piece of advice." Gently, a purple aura surrounded him as his voice echoed. "Doesn't matter how many strong subordinates you possess, Amon. If you aren't good enough yourself, not even in your dream will you be able to take this throne from me. For if you are a god, I am the god himself." The aura gradually became thicker as the body of the being disappeared, as if he never existed there. Deep down in the sea, 3 mermen were swimming around a giant mermaid. They were the 3 princes and the single princess of Fishman Island, and the whole Fishman race as a whole. The sea, like usual, was filled with fishes. However, strangely this time around, there were tens of sea kings surrounding that were swimming everywhere. The reason was, this was the region of sea kings, where even Neptune would not dare come. However, of course, Poseidon didn't have any worries. "The mermaid princess," Shirahoshi said in a cheerful voice looking at the sea kings. "Everyone, I missed you a lot." Hearing this, the sea king, as if understanding what she meant, cooed in a highly echoing voice. "Ko! Woo-boo!" The sounds made Shirahoshi laugh in a blissful voice. "Ah ha ha! It's nice to see you guys too." It was quite strange seeing how she was talking with beings who were believed to be mindless. Meanwhile, her 3 brothers were smiling lightly, seeing her happy smile. The older and most responsible brother said, "It's nice seeing her so happy. If only father and mother could come here every day too." The 2 brothers nodded, hearing him. "You are right. It certainly is a pity." Then the older brother again said in a hurried voice, "Oh, have you heard? That Skypiean man, he is in Sea Emperor now." The 2 brothers looked at him confused. "That's old news, Aniki. Why are you bringing him up now?" The older prince just laughed. Ha ha. Nothing much, really. I just remembered. If he wasn't there, Mother wouldn't have been with us. Not only that, we would have been forced to keep Shira locked in her room. The youngest brother laughed, hearing him. I know, right? He is really at the top of the good humans I have met. Without him, I don't think we would have been eligible to participate in the upcoming reverie that would come in 2 years. Yeah, I guess you are right. Ha 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 ha, yes, yes. While the 3 boys laughed to themselves, the princess giggled with the Sea Kings. This time around, she wasn't a crybaby. She was a lot more mature than the canon since she wasn't unfortunate enough to stay locked in her room. There were some incidents because of this change, though, such as many pirates trying to capture her and even nobles from across the world desiring her, but it was all resolved because of Shandora or Whitebeard's reputation. Shirahoshi hasn't shown her power since awakening the first time yet. However, she can converse with the Sea Kings, using which she built a close relationship with the fishes. And most importantly, Amon knew about it all. In the Skypiean, a small artificial island was floating 4 kilometers far from the Shandora. It was the remodeled Gecko Moria's ship, the new thriller bark. In the mansion that was hidden behind many architectures, Yona was sleeping soundly. It was already noon, but she was still asleep. It's because she has been very tired lately, worrying about Amon. Yona heard Amon was injured, deadly injured, but her work on making the prison was stopping her from visiting him. She felt she, the jailer, was jailed here. It was a frustrating feeling, the feeling of not being for her god when he needs her most. Fortunately, before she lost herself, Amon made a sudden return to Shandora along with Rocky, and Yona was able to meet him. Although he spent most of her time with him when he was here, it has already been 3 days since they left again. So Yona gave her all and almost finished making the prison. A prison where lied the eternal night, where the red moon never sets and the sounds of sea waves never end. Here, thousands of shadows existed with the owners of those shadows. This was a place that would be very important to Amon. This was the underworld. On above, it's a cheerful park, but for the people underground, this was hell. Suddenly, Yona, who was sleeping silently, opened her eyes instantly. An irritated voice escaped her lips. Someone is trying to escape. Those fools. She has put a few shadow clones in watch, but one of them has been destroyed. Yona sighed and released her observation haki to the direction she thinks the escapee is. However, she opened her eyes widely the next second and yawned. Yawn. Looks like I was worrying for nothing. The humming swordsman had already taken care of the matter. That evil spirit. He is cruel unlike I thought previously. Yona tiredly fell on her soft pillow and slowly closed her eyes. I will talk with him later. Yes. She released a heavy yawn and went back to sleep. Meanwhile, in Alabasta, at the capital, the main branch of Wingless Valkyrie existed. This branch is managed by Robin, who mostly stays in Alabasta Palace these days. While Robin was sitting in the big chair with an amicable smile on her face, she was looking at the few people in front of her. Today, a few new people were getting their promotions. A buff black man, a woman with bush-like hair, a middle-aged man with black hair, a little girl at the age of 16, another less buff black man, a woman with blonde hair. They were the people who were the main cast of Baroque works in the canon. Since such an organization didn't exist in this world, they joined Wingless Valkyrie. They were also a lot stronger than canon, as they knew hockey. Robin said in an indifferent voice, "All right, then from now on, your code names would be changed. Mr. 1 and Miss Doublefinger, you two are a team. Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week, you two are a team. Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, you two are a team." While everyone nodded, the man in the middle, wearing heavy makeup and flamboyant ballet clothes of a swan theme, looked ahead confused. "Wait a minute, what about me? I don't see someone I'd partner with. Perhaps it's you, Miss All Sunday, said the man with an idiotic smile. But Robin shook her head. No, you also have a partner, Miss Full Night. She is currently out, on a mission in Fishman Island. I hope I am clear, Mr. Two. The man, Mr. Two, also nodded with a bitter face. Robin continued. There are 20 people at the top of this organization. Even though you have names such as Mr. 1 and Mr. 5, don't think there are no people above you. You are simply the ranks that outsiders can achieve. The ones above you are all insiders, like Mont Cricket and me. Robin finished her words in a non-chant voice. A blonde girl, Miss Valentine, who's been working for Amon ever since 5 years ago, questioned, Wait, does that mean we can't get any more promotions? Robin giggled. Rather than thinking that way, think that you have reached the epitome of your work life. She said, We are a large group of 30,000 members, even after so many people left after Lucy became an emperor. To be in the top 20 here, that's a big achievement for you all. Robin stared at Miss Valentine as she nodded helplessly. Valentine has a weak power that lets her weigh more or less. It's not that practical in real-life combat, but after she learned Marine 6 powers, it became a useful ability, letting her climb to the top of this group filled with monsters. Robin thought, She is the least talented here. No, the least talented is that Mr. 5 dude. Lucy said he needs brainwashing since his power is too powerful. Theoretically, he can one day reach Whitebeard's level. It gives me chills just thinking about it. After shaking her head lightly, Robin then looked at their faces. Anyway, everyone can take a one-day rest as a promotional gift from me. But remember, after the rest, you have to return to full power. Yes, ma'am. Everyone cheered at once and backed off slowly, leaving the room, leaving Robin and Miss Valentine behind. Miss Valentine walked closer to the desk and leaned forward. Hey, Robin, where is the boss? He is busy, and watch your tone, Robin answered as she sipped a packed mango juice that is made in Skypiean. The sweet flavor of mango. I now know why Lucy is addicted to it. The blonde woman yelled impatiently, Hey, come on. He came back from wherever he went 2 months ago, yet he hasn't met me once. Robin sighed helplessly. Why would he? He doesn't even have enough time to spend with me. You are just a girl who he used for stress relief. Valentine frowned as she wanted to slam Robin's face. Who do you think you are, you wannabe sister? How long did you keep up the act? Only 2 years before you begged to be fucked, you whore. You, watch your mouth! Shut up! Valentine turned around. I hate your attitude the most. Don't worry, I will meet him somehow, even if I need to visit the sky. Saying this, she left through the door. As if nothing happened, Robin took a sip from her juice. I warned you to not fuck too many girls or something bad will happen. Look at this now. She soon sighed. Though I don't believe you won't think twice before brainwashing her. Your cruelty is what amuses me the most, my love. Robin giggled to herself and dreamed of her nights with Amon as her eyelids slowly closed themselves. I opened my eyes slowly under the radiant light. Yawning slowly, I noticed it was already morning. This is the 3rd day of my journey with the Kuja pirates. It took us 3 days since we left in the evening. Scratching my tight abs, I got up from the bed and walked closer to the bathroom. The bathroom is smaller than the one in my shrine, but it's fine, I guess. Amazon Lily is 287 kilometers from here. I can sense it. It will take a few more hours. Thinking such, I picked up the brush and rubbed it against my beautiful teeth. While staring at the mirror, where a naked man was staring at me, I spent my time brushing. Sleeping naked feels surprisingly good. If only there was someone to accompany the night. No, not this again. A sigh escaped involuntarily. I am acting too laid back these days. To be frank, my fight with Kaido only served to boost my fighting spirit, nothing more. Or at least it's not showing yet. After dressing myself, I went to the deck where a dining table was prepared for me. "Ah, young man, you are here." The old lady was sitting in one of the chairs as she greeted me, and I nodded in response. In the table with 5 chairs, 4 were already occupied by the old lady, Hancock, and the 2 other Boa sisters. I walked forward and sat on the chair in the middle, opposite Hancock. While staring at me with an indifferent look in her eyes, Boa Hancock was wearing a red kimono that was showing her cleavage. This made me release a blissful smile. Should I? A thought crossed my mind. I wasn't worried about flirting with her anymore, because even if I cross the line, she won't mind it. "Pirate Empress, you are looking as charming as ever with that arrogant and indifferent look of yours." As I said this, Hancock's eyes grew ever so slightly as she avoided eye contact and ignored me. Of course, this might seem strange after I said I wasn't after her on the first day, but it didn't matter to her. Her mind's already corrupted. Kind of scary how fast this woman changes her desires, which is why I am taking the initiative. Surprising me, Hancock opened her mouth. "You don't need to act formally with me. Calling me Hancock is fine." I smiled immediately. Perfect. Deciding to carefully choose my next words, I used my week to look for words. It didn't take more than 3 seconds of silence from my side as I found some words. "If you ask, Hancock." It was a simple line, but I saw the immediate effect of it as her body shook ever so slightly. I continued in an informal tone. "Though I am curious, where did you vanish yesterday?" Boa Hancock stiffened visibly. I was feeling unwell, so I was taking a rest in my room." Of course. I obviously knew what happened. She was indeed feeling unwell. It was the early symptom of love sickness. Yet she somehow managed to suppress herself to not break down. I have to admit, that's a strong spirit. Thinking that this was the perfect opportunity to progress forward, I stood up with a worried face and walked closer to her. "What are you—" Before the surprised Boa Hancock could react, I touched her chin and raised it towards my face. "Indeed, I see some redness in your cheeks. That's not good. If you are sick, you need to see a doctor. Not to brag, but I have quite good skill in this field." As I kept talking, Boa Hancock's indifferent face crumbled to dust, and a blush appeared on her face. The other 3 people had different reactions. The 2 Boa sisters seemed infuriated, while the old lady was calm. The old lady, Gloriosa, said, "Ah, yes." She refused to see any other doctors, saying it was embarrassing. "Perhaps you can find what's wrong with her." I nodded. It seems Hancock hasn't told her symptoms to the old granny yet. Sad, things would have progressed much smoothly that way. I removed my hands from Hancock's cheeks as I was about to turn around. "Wait for a second. I will bring some medicines." "That's enough." However, before I could fully turn around, Hancock snapped. She aggressively stood up from her seat and glared at me. I made a caught-off-guard face as I looked at her surprised. "Never touch me without asking ever again. Just being an emperor of the sea doesn't give you that qualification." She simply turned around and started to walk away. While the other 2 Boa sisters tried to run to her, she shot them a look. "Don't follow me, I lost my appetite." As the morning sun shined brightly above our heads, a grumpy Boa Hancock left the ship's deck. However, my eyes were still on her, while jumped in her bed and covered her face shamefully. General Pav. "Well, what's wrong with me?" Boa Hancock thought as her body temperature rose while she was laying on her bed. She was covering her forehead with her forearm while clenching her heart with her other hand. Her face was as red as a tomato as she breathed hot and heavy breaths. Why do I feel like this? Why did I feel pain in my heart when I talked harshly to him? Boa Hancock felt all her pride crumbling. He is just another man. So why did I feel pain when I saw that shocked look on his face? Boa Hancock was at the edge, almost losing herself to the pain in her heart. This was the rumored love sickness, and frankly, it really was dangerous if one doesn't cure it as soon as possible. As a few minutes passed, a knock fell on the door. "Big sister, are you all right?" It was the voice of Sandersonia, the greed-haired boa sister. Hancock regained a bit of her almost lost sense as she raised her head and looked at the door. Sandersonia, sister, we have been together forever, through hardships and bliss. You shouldn't hide it from us if you are sick. We don't want to lose you. The more Sandersonia talked, the more Hancock regained her senses. That's right. I still have to ensure my sister's people's safety. Hancock released a heavy sigh as the redness in her cheeks shrunk visibly. She said, Sandersonia, I am fine now. No need to worry anymore. I will eat my food at night. I just need a little bit of sleep. Is that fine? The cheerful voice of Sandersonia sounded out. Oh, really? Then please rest, big sister. I will come and wake you up at night, though I think we would most likely reach Amazon Lily by evening. Anyway, take a rest. She then said, Then I will be going. Her gradually fading footsteps entered Hancock's ears as she sighed. She looked at the desk in the room and walked closer. From the many things on the desk, she picked up a bottle of sleeping tablets and took a breath. I hope this helps me calm down, at least until I reach the Amazon Lily. She opened the cap and put a few tablets in her mouth, next grabbing a glass of water and drinking it. Hancock was aware she wouldn't be able to suppress this heavy feeling in her chest after reaching Amazon Lily and ensuring her people's safety. So she was scared. How exactly will she get by then? From another room of the ship, Amon smirked as he read her mind. It was evening. Raki was in the house of a short red-haired Kuja that she saved. Is this really all right? The sweet voice of the redhead sounded out as she covered her chest with her hand. Although I don't mind being naked with my other sisters, I feel like there is something different about you. Yes, the woman was completely naked now. Raki was trying to teach her how bonds between two sisters can grow deeper. Ha ha, try not to feel embarrassed. Raki laughed as she walked closer to her, still in her clothes. Embarrassment is not a true emotion. In ancient times, people were always naked. There was no embarrassment to shackle down their feelings, and that's how it should be. Raki slowly raised her hand towards the redhead's chest and said with a cheeky smile, Now then, will you help me undress? As Raki was about to finish her line, a loud voice flowed within the air. Everyone! The pirate empress is back! She really is back! It was the devil fruit of a Kuja that lets her talk in a really loud voice. A frown appeared on Raki's face as she drew back her hand. We will continue it. Some other day. Let's meet the pirate empress now, she said in a dejected and slightly annoyed voice as she turned around. Raki walked out of the room while stomping on her path, leaving a confused redhead Kuja behind.